I find one of the most evident points of divergence for me between the COVID aftermath sessions and its predecessor, the pandemic pandemonium sessions, to be its employed tone. And that's a comment I've noted before with respect to the 8 pieces we've heard so far on its evolution of debut, all of which have embodied, to a greater extent or another, a much softer face. Though they carry on the symphonic gothic metal tones that the pandemic pandemonium sessions beautifully explored, those numbers do carry with them a more melancholic, troubled, challenged, drearier mood, which fits again the sentimentality and direction of the title, and this one boasts more of a lighthearted, uphill direction that is also mimicked by the case art too, with the butterflies, even amidst the skeleton. Again, it's beautifully imagined, though, in whatever respect. I don't make a comparison to unintentionally provide a sense of the diss. I appreciate the widened field of symphonic metal, as many of you know. There is a great versatility in terms of extreme thematic articulation, imagery, even when I say imagery, that can also be described in terms of the display of the numbers. There's so many tools that artists play with in this particular sphere when interweaving metal tones of a classical edge and a grander orchestral vibe, and Morten Veland plays very well with this in terms of this collaborative framework that I've really taken a liking to, specifically as I've called it, a Mortemia model, the networking agent. As somebody who is self-diving his way into the European metal world and exploring as many names as possible, and this has been an interesting project because to a greater extent than the previous record, there's a mixture of knowns and unknowns to me with the vocalists that come on board. That's again the framework to Morten's project, where Morten Veland manages the music side, and I'm sure some input from the collaborative guest, and the vocalist from typically European origin with some points of deviation, from time to time. They come on board and provide their vocal talents in such exquisite ways to atmospheric works. And again, that's a testament I will provide to all 7 artists that have come on board with the COVID Aftermath sessions, or its predecessor with the 12 there. And in this case, we have a familiar gracing our ears. One that I'm still developing an appreciation for with respect to Ulterium, and I've yet to go down the Walk in Darkness, the Araignées, or Calidia route. But NICOLETTA ROSELLINI, I've really taken a liking to her vocal delivery, and I think she'll be interesting in considering where 1,000 Light Years Unfold will go. I don't know yet, because Ulterium has a bit of a mix on vocal edge too, and with musical tones. Like, I'm thinking of the 4 pieces we've recognized, and they all Ulterium, if you don't know, is Italian-based power metal. So there is still an enhanced riff performance, but even then there's different tonalities that take shape. For example, look at Siren's Call, which has a bit of a softer edge to it, versus the latest piece we've recognized, and what I have to get back to in terms of an album, because Of War and Flames was really good as a project of what I've heard of it. Anyway, that's my intention. We're going to come back to Ulterium very soon, because I've loved getting an introduction to not only the group, but Nicoletta as well. But Of War and Flames, for example, much more aggressive, frenetic, harsher. But even there's a versatility, because I can't recommend that piece enough. It's great. Just trust me. Walk into that one, you'll appreciate it. It's a beautiful number, as any of these Mortemia pieces have been, or any artist that graces our time together here in a collaborative consultation respect. I think music is best enjoyed that way as an art form, and I hope you take a liking to this, whether or not you walk in familiar to Mortemia. I hope you feel at home here, and Nicoletta as well. Maybe this is a doorway of introduction for you, which again, like I said, this has been so interesting about the successor work, is that on a more routine basis, I'm like, either I know this artist or I don't. This didn't happen with the pandemic pandemonium sessions, other than I think on one occasion. Generally, all of those names, fresh witness from me, and then some yet to get to, but for the most part, I've explored around. I took, as I said, with the Mortemia model, get taught the name in the collaborative respect, and venture out later to their associated credits, and I can't wait to do that for, in greater respect to Nicoletta, the other 3 attributions we've not yet welcomed. But I know her talent from Ulterium. I know her name very well. Let's see her immerse her talents into Mortemia's score with 1,000 Light Years Unfold, which I think is going to take a bit more of, like I said, it captures that hopeful vibe that the COVID Aftermath sessions employs in terms of implication on title sentimentality. Let's see which way it goes in lyrical and tonal synonymy, and how the vocals flesh themselves out. Okay, a bit more of like a modern vibe to this one. We'll see when the verses kick in, but I'm like, this is almost like the Pandemic Pandemonium Sessions territory. Much more aggressive than what we've seen so far in this record. Maybe close to Eyes of the Viper, but I think this is a bit... But actually, no, the latest 3. They're all more aggressive. I love how clear her accent is. Is she doing the higher vocal layers too? Or is it a snare? Either way, it's really creative. It's deceitfully, if so, like a vocal, or a pseudo-vocal display. Nicoletta really does have a good edge to the lower melodic register, I find. It's not an instrumental choice. It's a human layer. I'm trying to recall if we've seen her, or how high her range is with what we've studied so far. With Ulteria, maybe a hint of it on Siren's Call. But not to that extreme of range. This is a bit new. Oh, it's beautiful. I love some keyboard action. This is woven well into a score with mixed instrumental device. I love when she hits those B's and you hear that vibration in her voice again, where that's, I believe, the accent. We have another fun piece. 8 editions in, I've not been let down at all by the Mortemia voice. Well, technically, I'm not even counting Sirenia in the total here yet, because that would add on a number more that I'm... Let's keep it simple for the moment. Yes, Sirenia pieces I absolutely love, and of course he's a part of that group. But if I keep it specific to Mortemia, because that's who we're talking about, I can count this at least on the top of my head. We are at now 21 number exposures as of 1,000 light years unfold, and it's been really interesting to hear how versatile his voice has been. Though, still, strictly Mortemia. I always hear that edge with the way the scores are constructed, though I love the mixed versatility of instrumental agent here. The synths, the keyboard work I freaking love, but the way this originates, it has much more of like a modern... It tempts you to think like, okay, what is going to be the direction here? Because it does fall in line very well with the body of pieces off of the COVID Aftermath sessions, but when those riffs kick in, it is, and we've seen that before lightly. Trying to think of maybe best examples besides the previous 3, but even, well, actually Samurai maybe. Samurai and Eyes of the Viper come across as much harder to me. The first 5 numbers, or what about Fabiane's one? Oh, possibly. Antidote? But they still don't necessarily get to the as good as they are, there's still an elevated display with these numbers that don't necessarily hit on the darker undertone of the Pandemic Pandemonium sessions to this degree. I think that Nicoletta's number dives that way most explicitly. love hearing her voice employed on Mortemia. Again, she's a great fit with Volterium. I've loved being able to humor her work and her talent, but because it's been several months since I listened to Of War and Flames originally in that encounter. We need to get back. We are due to go back to Of War and Flames. I just haven't done it yet. Anyway, I've been playing catch-up here of a number of names, but I really love hearing Nicoletta's vocal performance here meshed with that accent. And the melodic register is great for her, but I think she's also doing that higher vocal layer, which we've not heard her hit that range yet. So Mortemia's opened up a door for us that maybe, again, like I said, her subsequent adjacent credits to Ulterium will also enhance in performance, but I really like the direction of this number on musical scoring and its mixed versatility of instrumental agent. Again, the synths to keyboard work, a bit of like a modernized edge, most explicitly on tone, but it really does for me drip back into the Pandemonium Sessions delivery. There's just something about the score that not the other numbers on this record have differentiated and separated from. Though again, they maintain the same Mortemia style, and some of the riff patterns are very similar in the way, in their force. Well, actually, no. Well, maybe. Yeah, some close approximates, but again, they've not necessarily hit that. And again, I'm not trying to in any way compare, because I don't like to rank things, but because I've loved both works equally to their different tones, respectively, the Pandemonium Sessions and the COVID Aftermath Sessions. Both are admirable projects. It's just that with this one, I'm noticing an explicit thread back into where we were. And it's quite delightful to hear because the Pandemonium Sessions was my introduction. And I really do love darker Gothic roots interwoven into metal. So to see that return here, even with a bit of a lighter elevation on vocals and a more upward direction in terms of the narrative, the visualizer as well, it feels like a good hybrid mix that is most explicitly like a holistic view of Mortemia, I think, and the Mortemia history as of late. It's a great entry, though. Any piece of Mortemia has been. Whether it be somebody that I'm discovering in fresh eyes, or familiar, like Nicoletta Rossellini. It's great to have another picture to recognize a very talented Italian singer. And again, as I said, we will return, whenever that is, to her works. We're taking a bit of a pause, I guess. No. This is our fanfare for re-entrance to go back in, where I should have been months ago. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this piece? And is this the first piece to welcome you from Mortemia's graces? I'd love to hear about it down below. And Nicoletta as well. There's always room for introductions, and the European metal market welcomes us so readily, especially in a collaborative respect. And that's Mortemia's essence of what I found so charming about his work beyond just musical scorings that are quite invigorating and widely reaching with symphonic metal, which I love. And again, that Gothic direction, I can't get enough of it. Every artist he brings on in terms of the vocal role, or instrumental as well, with respect to, let's say with this album, The Endless Shore, I still love that one, with the guitar work from NICOLETTA, and what's that other group he's part of? Bloodborne? I might have that name wrong. I have also mapped them out. Anyway, we'll get to them at some point, but I've really liked witnessing all these works, again, alongside all of you, but to expand my perspective and familiarity to Mortemia and learn so many new names in the process, or be better accustomed to different vocal elements of proficiency with artists I know, like Nicoletta, with those higher notes. Though again, this song for the most part sits in that lower melodic register. This is a great ballad number, and it's great to return to Nicoletta's graces of what we will be doing very, very soon. But to take an entrance of Mortemia, I think she's a great fit for the world of the COVID Aftermath Sessions, as every artist so far has been. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.